Hey guys, Roth from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with a bit of a Christmas haul vid. I wasn't gonna do one, but I thought, you know what? I did get some pretty awesome things this year, so why not just show it off real quick? So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, that is nearly upon us. And with that, sometimes the best gifts are the ones made for you. My daughter made this for me. Cross stitch, if you can tell real quick there. Scene from The Thing. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? Kind of love that. That was a nice little surprise. Went out shopping. Went on a little bit of a movie hunt with my daughter the other day. Really didn't find anything. I did pick up two things that surprisingly weren't in my collection. Total Recall. We rewatched this the other night, first time in quite a while, and I found it it's about as good, which is good, as I remember. It's been a while, and so this was I forgot Rob Bottin had his hands on this one. The prosthetics are so awesome in this. Great movie, man. Really do need an upgrade on that at some point. This one I found mostly because I know it's a movie that my wife really loved growing up and stuff. And we did rewatch this. And this one, surprisingly, I don't remember ever thinking much about this movie. But I'm going to be honest, man. Watching this the other day, I really dug it, man. And that is, of course, the original Judge Dredd. Before comic book movies were a thing, this is interesting because it begins with the title sequence and stuff by showing us comic book covers and stuff. You know, that stuff that we're used to now, probably weren't so used to back when that movie came out. That was a fun. If you haven't, been a while since you've revisited or visited either of those two, and I see there my screen just went. Gotta love menu screens. Let's move on into actual Christmas morning. What you just saw up there a minute ago. From Film Chest, Antonio Margarati's early science fiction work, Battle of the Worlds. There's a lot of reasons why I wanted this, man. Claude Rains, anyone? It's such an awesome early science fiction. And, I just got done doing a video talking about Mario Bava and Kill Baby Kill, which is going up today at some point, just like this one will. And, as much of as an innovator and how important Mario Bava was, Antonio Margarati was as well, man. Different reasons, but I mean, as well. This Film Chest release is pretty awesome, man. Of course, they got their nice little film. Actually, not Film Chest, it's Film Detective. Why did I say chest? I know, because I used the word chest earlier in one of my reviews. The Film Detective, I'm so sorry. But anyways, this release also comes really cool book. I didn't actually read it yet. I didn't realize it was a full book in here until just now. Kind of give you an idea. Actually, it's a lot lengthier than what it appears to be. But let's see who wrote this real quick. Don Stradley. Here's the end page. This was probably pretty reasonable price. But such a... I just love Claude Rains in this thing. He is so awesome. Such a powerful actor. So Battle of the Worlds, some early Antonio Margarati. Okay, so I got a gift card, Amazon gift card. So I ordered two things that are going to be body bags related down the road a little bit. One of them is Lost After Dark. I have never seen this. I have seen it out in the wild many times, but it's just one of those weird things where you just never pull the trigger and you just don't grab it while you see it. But trying to remember, I know, this is for an Anchor Bay Volume 2 week. And so Anchor Bay had put this out. So I am really looking forward to this. Lost After Dark, and you thought the 80s were dead. I've heard some really good stuff about this. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out and reviewing that on Body Bags. The other one I just picked up was, again, Body Bags related. And this one is, I'm trying to remember the... Oh, I think this is part of our theme week, 80s horror. And this is a movie. You know, it's funny. Sometimes you just forget about movies until something brings it to mind. And then you're like, why the heck is that not in my collection? I remember that movie. This is one of those, man. I got some fond memories of this, and I cannot wait to revisit it. I'm probably not going to wait to when we do it on Body Bags. I'm just going to pop it in and watch it at some point here soon. But it's The Hidden, part of Warner's archive. So much looking forward to that, rechecking that out. The Hidden. Picked this one up. I was out Christmas shopping with my son. Ended up being a gift from him, from James, and from 1979. We watched this as just me and the guys down here in the movie room. Yeah, it's definitely 1979. It is definitely a 70s film, but not near as bad as you would think. It was, it's one of those where they keep the creature, you from seeing the creature until like the very, very end. And then when you do, it's like, all right, probably best we waited to the very end, but not bad. The Bog. So interesting one from nice little creature feature from 1979. It's okay. So this one, we've got another theme week coming up on Body Bags, and I decided I had already done this once, but a few years ago actually, and we don't generally revisit things our own, but there's so much about this release and the theme week, and I've actually grown in terms of film, in terms of my thoughts on film, since I've done this review. I really want, and it's so appropriate to what we're going to be doing and talking about that week. I knew if I got this release, I was going to have to do it and kind of delve back into that world just a little bit. I know I'm dragging my feet on this, man, but I've added another Grindhouse release to my collection. Of course, this is perhaps the most infamous film of all time, perhaps maybe for obvious reasons, and that is, of course, Cannibal Holocaust, Ruggero Deodato's absolute classic. Chess Balin from Deep Red Magazine said, as brutal, uncompromising, and apocalyptic as they come, this is the ultimate cannibal film. Eli Roth, which apparently contributed to the linear notes in the book that is also in this release, the most shocking, disturbing, and amazing horror film I've ever seen. Eli Roth, director of Hostel. Yeah, I can't really open it up. I mean, it gets a little graphic on some of the... Tim Lucas of Video Watchdog said, the Citizen Kane of cannibal films. I can't show you the back, though. This is an absolute phenomenal release. It's still in print. It's still out there. If this is something that you've always wanted to add, and it does have the two variants of the film, the one that takes out certain elements of the film that are deemed very controversial, but also the original film is left intact in here as well. It's the soundtrack, book, the just extras galore. Commentary track, what I can't wait to hear is Ruggero Deodato. I'm curious to see how that goes. Either he knows English or that it's a subtitled commentary track. Curious about that one. Again, a 24-page booklet containing linear notes by Eli Roth. And just a lot of other stuff in here. Interviews with a lot of the people that attached to the film. So anyways, infamous. But if you... It's kind of hard to comment on it if you've never seen it or understand. So, you know what? Jason, our Tuesday reviewer, Body Bags, both me and him got something really interesting in common, and that is our absolute angst in terms of what has happened ultimately to two specific visions. One, David Gordon Green and the Exorcist trilogy, which seems not to be a trilogy anymore, although no one really knows where it's going. But with the amount of money that they sunk into the rights, you would think somehow, some way, they're going to have to finish it. I really hope they don't redo it. I have not seen the film, so I cannot comment on the film, but it is an absolute tragedy. Well, it is a tragedy. I was going to say a travesty. But when a director can't see his vision through completely, it gets cut off. And that is the climate we live in today. And it's not necessarily, I mean, it can be woke / cancel culture. It can be a lot of that stuff. But it can also just be this, we live in this internet age where, unfortunately, I grew up in, like he did, we grew up in the 70s where, look, you weren't seeing the movie unless you went to a theater and you were very much well surprised by it, or maybe you didn't like it, but you didn't know much about it. Now, if you were a horror hound, right, you did live by the pages, eventually in the 80s, we lived by the pages of Fangoria, and then Gore Zone came along. But there wasn't really a huge there was no real outlet. But now with the internet and with the collectivization of the general masses, they can very quickly hate in a way that can derail someone's vision in terms of, I'm thinking cinematically, making movies, which is just, it is unfortunate that a director can be treated that way. I mean, if there's a vision in place, there's a plan for the two following films, you see it through. So he's extremely upset, obviously for good reason about that, as well as I still carry angst around from Rob's vision being dropped from Halloween. Both, there was probably, just like Exorcist, Believer, there was probably as much hate being leveled at Rob Zombie well before the movie ever even came out. Which, by the way, I'm going to show it here in a second. But great Christmas gift from Glenn, aka BDG Reviews, and Jason is aka Horrific Nightmares. Glenn, our Monday reviewer. And so, I mean, and I still feel the pain of that sometimes because, if you listen to, if you got, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, you hear Tom Atkins on that commentary talk about what the setup was for part 3 that was going to come from the writers of the My Bloody Valentine remake. Those two guys, Lucier and the other guy. And when you just hear where they were going with it, it's just like, God, and what we got in absence of that vision, what we got was a trilogy by David Gordon Green, which I think I own it. I own the whole trilogy. I saw the trilogy in the theater. I think it's fair for someone like me to draw some criticisms of it along the way. But in the end, it's Halloween. It's part of Halloween canon now, and it's got some strong moments and perhaps some not so strong. But as with any trilogy, at least David Gordon Green got to see his trilogy through. Now, it helped that John Carpenter was on board for that. And so they got to see that through, although Ends really got people mad. But I think Ends is the best film, man. I think of the 3. And so for, me and Jason both have, our, angst in life right now. But anyways, with that being said, as the segue, Glenn said this to me, the very, very rare work print for Halloween, Rob Zombie's 07 film, which I am going to review for BodyBags, the work print specifically. That's coming this week. I was going to do today, but I think I'm going to watch it one more time before I do it. And this is part of the greater unboxing. If you want to see what else Glenn sent me, I'm just kind of sort of considering it a Christmas gift, but I did want to mention it in this heap of stuff. Not really a heap, but a small heap. But this, the work print, I think goes quite a bit of ways to solving or smoothing out a lot of the issues that people had in with the theatrical cut of his Halloween. But again, to go back to Jason and Exorcist, and a lot of times people comment and they have no clue why Halloween '07 feels like it's two films, because inherently it is. And I've spoken on that on length in other places on my channel. But you really got to know what you're talking about before you talk in level hate. Let's see, I picked up this book, Neil Ferguson. I am a big fan of Neil Ferguson, historian, Doom, The Politics of Catastrophe. Just been listening to a podcast related to this, and very excited to delve into that. I got one more thing, and then we'll call it a wrap. This is man, this is the standout of my haul, man. My oldest son, Sam, got this for me, and this is amazing. Check this out. Now, the mask does come off, obviously, and the mask itself looks pretty awesome. Look at that. Pretty awesome. I'm just calling it the Friday 3, because there's no, there's obviously no cut into the mask up here. But how about that, man? Yeah, I'll have to fix that. But so that goes right up there behind me, and so it's just an awesome thing for the movie room. And so yeah, I better get going before you see too much of my family now. So anyways, Christmas haul real quick, some films and stuff, and a little bit of a rant to go with it. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's that is nearly upon us. And gotta love my Bulldogs doing a number on FSU. I know, one team opted in, one team opted out, but you know what? That's the way it goes. We finished strong. We finished the way we ought to finish. And it's good stuff right there. My Bills are on TV. Yeah, just goofy pictures. My Bills are on TV later today, so I'm going to check that out. Hopefully they make it into the playoffs, and we'll see. So as always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream. We might be useful to you.